Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My name is Liaquat. I hope you guys are having the most wonderful day ever. Alright, so this series is basically dedicated to explain to you guys the Hadith of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And these selections or collections of books that I've selected is actually a short, kind of nice, concise way of trying to learn about our religion. And as you guys know, I like drawing and I try to explain to you guys in the best way possible. And that's it basically. So if you guys love my channel, if you like my channel, if you enjoy my channel, then hit the like, subscribe button and leave a comment as well. Right, so Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Al-waladu lil-firash wa lil-ahir al-hajar. The child is for the bed and stones are for the adulterer. So this hadith is a very short hadith, but let me explain how this hadith basically works. So, as we know, in Islam, family is very, very important. In fact, family is so important that when it comes to rulings, ahkam, lots of rulings revolve around the concept of family. So, for example, like nikah, marriage, and then you have obviously divorce, right, which is ending of nikah, and then you have inheritance laws, and you have other things that are mentioned in the Quran and in the statements of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So family is extremely important when it comes to these kind of things. Reason being, family is important because family is literally like a way that the society is able to stay in harmony. So we know a man and a woman basically procreate and create another copy of themselves, okay? And then those ones go and procreate and then they create another copy of themselves. And this way, progeny continues, the world stays stable, and humans basically are able to walk on the earth for thousands of years. If this ever stops, then we're going to have problems. And we also know that if we don't have the proper sort of like mechanisms in place, in fact, this whole process can become something chaotic, right? And as human beings, we kind of think for ourselves. So what can happen, unfortunately, is we can have situations where people will fall into fornication. So that the family system does not break up, right? Fornication has been banned. Right, because fornication is where two people who have not made a commitment to one another get together and they decide that they're going to have sexual intercourse, intimacy, whatever you want to call it, and it's going to lead to children that are illegitimate children. And this is something which can have a bad impact on society. Why? Because when someone has illegitimate relations with another and a child is born, then who is going to take care of the child? And in most cases, what happens is the father does not take care of the child, mother is the one that takes care of the child, and it leads to, imagine 1,000 people did this, you'll have 1,000 children. Or imagine 1,000,000 people, you literally have 1,000,000 people who do not have anyone to take care of them, to be able to help them and rear them. And tarbiyah is extremely important, right, in Islam. We know tarbiyah is a key thing, and tarbiyah can only happen when there is real love, right, so that family is built upon this kind of relationship where they have this love there, and that love needs to have care, needs to have this really, really kind of important care for one another. And then ultimately all of this is kind of, you can say possibly, is found in protection as well. So the father figure is like the protector of the family. He kind of protects everyone, right? So him being there is very important. And as a Muslim, we know that if your family is good, then your religion is going to be healthy. Your religious values, upholding the religion, taking care is going to be very, very important. So what if in society now, a man and a woman, right, are married and they have children? What if they have children? So what's the status, the legal status of these children? So the legal status of these children automatically will be that the children belong to whoever was married to the woman. So obviously the woman, the children are born from the woman. So the husband, by marriage, by the virtue of nikah, he legally is the parent of the children, right? So nikah gives him the status. This is known as firash. Firash means bed, meaning he has the rights to the bed. And so as long as he has the rights to the bed, he automatically becomes the father of the children. Now, if he wishes, if he makes a claim that the children are not mine, Islam also has a procedure for this in courts. This is called the procedure of li'an. So the li'an procedure basically is where the father disowns the children, saying the children are not mine, they are from another man. And so literally he's kind of accusing his wife of fornication. Right, so accusing a wife of fornication, what will happen is the courts will nullify the marriage. So this is going to be like a form of nullification of the marriage. However, as long as they're married, any children this woman gives birth to are going to be his. Even if, let's say, someone else was to fornicate with her and they had a child, right, even that child would be his as well. Right, so any children that are born from her, as long as they're in the marriage. So why did the Prophet ﷺ say this for? So he said this, like we said, to keep this whole system in place. Like the marriage system, to keep it in place, the husband is the one who is the rightful father of any children that his wife gives birth to, whether they are from him or whether they are from another man from an illegitimate means. This incident actually, there's a little background to this incident as well, which was that in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, after the conquest of Mecca, there was basically Sauda radiallahu anha, one of the wives of the Prophet ﷺ, whose name was Sauda. So she basically, Sauda, she had a father. Her father's name was Zam'a. Okay, Zam'a. And Zam'a had another son called Abd. And he had this slave woman who was known as Walida. So it was like kind of like a wife kind of thing. So she gave birth to a child. Right? So this child now, let's draw this child here. And this child, who does this child belong to? So Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, he actually comes along and he says, right? So Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, Sa'd, right, in English. Sa'd comes along and he says, this child is mine because it was my brother's. My brother had intimacy with her and the child was his. Right? Illegitimate child, obviously. But the child is his because he had intimacy. So this case was raised to the Prophet ﷺ. Who is going to take the child? Is it going to be taken by the Zam'a family? Or is it going to be belong to Sa'd ibn Waqqas family? So the Prophet ﷺ said, Al-waladu lil-firash. The child belongs to the man in whose responsibility the child was born and brought up in. Right? So that therefore goes back to Zam'a. And lil-ahir al-hajar. And for the fornicator, the one who is the fornicator, meaning the guy who has done the fornication, which was in that case, Sa'd ibn Waqqas' brother who has died. For him is hajar. Hajar means like a stone, and it kind of means like he gets nothing. He gets zilch. He gets nothing at all. So this is like the background story to this particular incident, right? So, and that's it. So it's kind of like, it's a nice way of kind of explaining of how this whole family unit is meant to be kept together. It doesn't matter what happens in the family. It doesn't matter what kind of turbulence occurs. The idea is we try to maintain the family throughout the whole journey of this family. Alright guys, so Jazakumullah khair. I hope you guys understood this. So we just to recap, the importance of the family, nikah, and the children that are born, who do they belong to? So they actually belong to the man who is married to that woman, right? Who is in charge of that woman. In this case, the father. And so any children, even if it comes from even she has intimacy with a different man whilst that marriage is going on, that the children will legally be counted as the husband's children. And therefore, even if DNA test shows otherwise, it will still be counted as his children. And we said that obviously he has the power to be able to disown the children legally, in the sense that he claims they're not his. But that's another procedure. We just want to talk about this hadith. And this occurred in the time of the Prophet ﷺ with Zam'a, or with the child that was born in the family of Zam'a. And that's it, guys. So I hope you guys benefit from this. If you have any sort of questions or anything that can help you guys with, please let me know in the comments. Thank you to all my patrons for all the support you guys have shown. You guys make this all possible, alhamdulillah. And if anyone else wants to become a patron and support my channel, and help me produce more videos like this, then please check out the description below, and I will see you guys next time. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.